Magandang araw. So ngayon, we're going to record implicit and explicit transaction creating save points. So ito po profile ko. Introduction. The implicit and explicit transactions creating save points module provides you with the instructions and devices to develop your hands-on skills in the following topics. First, analyzing the effect of implicit transaction on transact SQL statements. Second, creating an explicit transaction on transact SQL statements. The last one, implementing save points in the transactions. Next, exercise 1, analyzing implicit transaction on transact SQL statements. A transaction refers to a sequence of operation on a database. This operation form a single unit and run in logical order, either manually or automatically. The transactions as a whole unit can either be executed successfully or may fail for certain reasons. SQL Server supports two types of transactions mode. Number 1, implicit transaction. 2, explicit transaction. Task 1. In this exercise, you will learn to understand the execution of transact SQL statements when implicit transaction mode is turned on. Task 1. Monitor an implicit transaction. In this task, you will check the effect of enabling the implicit transaction mode when executing transact SQL statements. Step 1. Ensure you have powered on the required devices and connect to PLAB SQL 01. So ito, nakakonect na siya. Step 2. From the PLAB SQL 01 desktop, click Start and click Microsoft Server 2016 and Microsoft Server Management Studio. Then, the Connect Server dialog box appears. From the server type drop-down list, click Database Engine. In the server name text box, type PLAB SQL 01. So ito siya. Then, click Connect. Step 3, the SQL Server Management Studio window opens. In Object Explorer, click to expand the databases folder. Click then step 4, to select the database from the list of databases, click AdventureWorks DW 2016 CTP3. To create a new query from the query ribbon, click New Query. Step 5, to the new query pane opens. Step 6, turn on the implicit transaction mode in the SQL Server Databases engine. To enable the implicit transactions mode, type the following query in the new query pane or copy. In this query, the command to turn on implicit transactions is set. This enables the database engine to automatically control the transaction. Then, step 7, to run the query, click Execute or press F5. The query runs successfully. The message window displays commands completed successfully. Note, when the implicit transaction mode is turned on, SQL Server automatically begin a transaction on specifying the following statements: alter table, truncate table, create, delete, drop, grant, insert, open, select, and update. Step 8. Create a new table, dim product TMP, and add its contents from the dim product table in the AdventureWorks DW 2016 CTP3 database. To perform this, type the following query below the previous query in the same query pane. So, erase ko na lang to. Then type the query or copy. The given query creates a new table named dim_product_tmp. To run the query, that's you type, select it, and click execute or press F5. The query runs successfully and the message window displays the number of rows affected, which is in case 606. Ito. Then, step 9, roll back the transaction to erase all data modification made from the start of the transaction. To perform this, type the following command below the query that you type in step 8 in the same query pane. So, copy ko na lang to muna. Then, erase ko to. Same lang yapon. Same pa rin ang query pane. To run the command, select it and click it, execute, or press F5. So, select it. The command runs successfully. So, the command runs successfully. The changes made from the start of the transaction are rolled back. In other words, the creation of table dim product team in the AdventureWorks DW 2016 is rolled back. Step 10. Confirm that rollback command has rolled back from the enter transaction, which is in this example the creation of dim product TMP table. To perform this, type the following query below the rollback command in the same query pane. Copy ko to. Then erase ko na lang. The given query attempt to select records from the dim product TMP table. To run the query, select it and press execute or press F5. Select and execute. The query runs. However, an error is thrown as the dim product temp table is not found as a result of rollback transaction. The message invalid. So the message is invalid object name dim product TMP is displayed in the message window. Step 11. Recreate the table dim product TMP and load its contents from dim product table in the AdventureWorks DW 2016 CTP3 database. To perform this, type the following query in the query pane that already open. Copy ko. Then delete ko na lang. Same pa rin ang query pane. To run the query, select it and click execute or press F5. The query runs successfully. The message window shows the number of rows affected. So ito siya. Step 12. Commit the transaction manually to make the changes made in the transaction permanent and the transaction as well. To perform this, type the following command below the query that you type in step 11. So, dito pa rin natin i-type. Delete ko to. Then, to run the commit command, select it and click execute or press F5. The command runs successfully and the changes in the transaction are made permanent. Then, so ito siya. The command runs successfully. Changes in the transaction are made permanent. Step 13. To confirm whether the changes made in the previous transactions are made permanent, type the following query in the same query pane that is open. Copy. Then delete ko na lang ulit to. This given query selects record from the dim product temp table. To run the query, select it and click execute or press F5. So, the query runs successfully and the records are displayed. This shows that the creation of dim product temp has been made permanent. So, ito siya. Nasa message. Step 14. To turn off implicit transaction option in the SQL server, type the following query in the same query pane. Copy ko to. Then, delete ko na lang ulit. Same pa rin ang query pane. To run the command, select it and click execute or press F5. The command runs, so the command runs successfully and the implicit transaction mode is set off. Then next, exercise 2, creating an explicit transaction on transact SQL statements. In this exercise, you will learn to work the explicit transaction mode. Step 1. Create a new FAQ Internet Sales Test table and import data from FAQ Internet Sales table in the AdventureWorks DW 2016 CTP3 database. Then select the data from the newly created FAQ Internet Sales test to verify the output. To perform this, type the following queries in the new query pane. So, gagawa tayo ng new query. Then, type this or copy. In the given transaction, the first select query creates a table name, FAQ Internet Sales Test, and loads it with the data from the FAQ Internet Sales table. The second select query retrieves a record from the newly created FAQ Internet Sales Test table. Step 2, to run the queries, click execute or press F5. The queries run successfully. The new table is created and the records from the table are displayed in the result window. So So ito, result, message. Step 3, create an explicit transaction by explicitly defining the start and the end of the transaction. Type the following explicit transaction that deletes the records with the product key 310 from the fact internet sales test table. Notice that the transaction explicitly uses the begin run statement at the start and the rollback run statement at the end. This implies that the deletion of the record with the product key 310 needs to be rolled back at the end of this transaction. Note, type the given query in the query pane that already open. So, dito pa rin tayo na-type. Delete ko to. Then, copy. To run the batch, select the entire transaction and click execute or press F5. Press F5. The transaction runs successfully. The message window displays the number of rows affected. Step 4. Confirm the deletion of the record with the product key value 310. Type the following query in the query pane that already open. Copy ko. Dito pa rin tayo magta-type. Delete ko na lang. To run the query, select it and click execute or press F5. The query runs successfully and the result set displayed. The record for the product key 310 this indicates that the deletion of the product key 200 record has been rolled back. Since the transaction ended with the rollback command, the data was not modified in the fact internet sales test table. The rollback transaction statement rolls back a transaction to its beginning. So ito siya. Tingnan natin kung tama. So, pareho. Pareho siya. Step 5. Replace the rollback run command in the transaction with the commit run command and perform the required delete operation. To perform this, type the following query in the query pane that is already open. Copy ko na lang to. Then, dito pa rin tayo magta-type. To run the query, select the entire transaction and click execute or press F5. Press F5. The query runs successfully. The message window displays the number of rows affected. Step 6. Confirm the deletion of the record with the product key 310 in the fact internet sales test table. To perform this, type the following query in the query pane that is already open. Type the following. So, dito pa rin tayo magta-type. To run the query, select it and click execute or press F5. query runs successfully and the result set is displayed. However, no records are returned for the product key 310. Note, as the transaction ended with the commit command, the delete operation of the record is successful, and therefore, the data for the specified row is not found. So, ito siya. Pareho sila. Then, next, exercise 3, implementing save points for rolling back transactions. In this exercise, we will learn to implement save points in the transact SQL statement and use it with rollback command to complete the transaction. Task 1, use save points in a transaction. In this task, we will create save points statement in a transaction. Step 1, drop the existing fact internet sales test table created in the previous exercise. Now, create the fact internet sales test table again and import the data from the fact internet sales table in the AdventureWorks DW 2016 CTP3 database. To drop the existing table and create a new table, type the following query in the new query. So, new query. Then, type this or copy para madali. This given, select query loads fact internet sales text table with records from the fact internet sales with the specified order dates. Step 2, to run the query, click execute or press F5. The query runs successfully and the message window displays the number of rows affected. So, ito siya. Step 3, retrieve the records from the fact internet sales test table. To perform this, type the following query below the previous query in the same query. Pwede siya sabay-sabay pero i-delete ko na lang para hindi ako kasi kanina na may nagkakamali ako. Copy ko to. Then dito pa rin na query. Ilagay or type. To run the query, select it and click execute or press F5. The query runs successfully and the result set is displayed. So ito siya. Result message. Step 4, continue this session and delete the records in the fact internet sales test table whose product key is 346. Create a save point to mark the transaction. To perform this, type the following query below the query that you type in step 3 in the same query pane. Ito pa rin siya. Dito pa rin natin siya i-type. Pero delete ko na lang siya dito. Delete ko na lang. Then, copy, paste. In this query, we have marked a save point or tran A to the section of the transaction that deletes a record in the fact internet sales test table with the specified product key. To run the query, select it and click execute or press F5. The query runs successfully and the message window displayed. displays the number of rows affected. Step 5. Confirm that the transaction is successful and the specified rows are deleted in the internet sales test table. Type the following query in the same query pane that is already open. Dito pa rin natin siya ito-type. To run the query, select it and click execute or press F5. The query runs successfully and the result set is displayed. So ito siya. The records for the product key 246 are not found in the result set. Step 6. Continue decision and delete the columns in the internet sales test table whose product key is 310. Create another save point to mark this section of the transaction that deletes the specified records. To create another save point, type the following query below the current query in the same query pane. Dito pa rin natin siya ito-type. Delete ko na lang. In this query, you have marked a save point, tran B to the section of the transaction that deletes records in the internet sales test table with the specified product key. To run the query, select it and click execute or press F5. The query runs successfully and the result set is displayed. Step 8. Select the records from the internet sales test table to verify that the records with the product key 210 are deleted. Then, roll back the transaction to the save point tran B. To perform this step, the following batch of SQL statements in the same query pane. So, dito pa rin natin siya type. To run the batch, select it and click execute or press F5. The query runs successfully. The result returned by the select statement is displayed. Find the records with the product key 210 is not found in the result set. So, tama ang nagawa natin. Pareho sila. Step 9. To verify the rollback of the transaction within tran B is successful, select the record from the internet sales test table. Then roll back the transaction to the save point tran A. To perform this, type the following batch of SQL statements below the current query in the same query pane. So, delete ko na lang. Pwede siya sabay pero delete ko na lang para hindi ako malito. To run the batch, select it and click execute or press F5. The query runs successfully and the result set is displayed. Find the deletion of the record with the product key 210 within the tran B save point is rollback. So ito, that's a result message. So, pareho siya. Step 10. Confirm that the transactions under save points tran A and tran B are successfully rolled back and the deleted rows are inserted back in the fact internet sales test table. To perform this, type the following query below the current query in the same query pane. Dito pa rin tayo magta-type. To run the query, select it and click execute or press F5. The query runs successfully and the result set is displayed. So ito siya. The results and messages. Then next. So, yun lang po. Then summary. You cover the following activities in this module. Analyzing the effect of implicit transaction of the transact SQL statement, creating an explicit transaction on the transact SQL statement, implementing Savepoints and transactions. And that's all.